Hello again, I am Blunty. I put the iPhone 16 Pro through its paces as a camera and was very pleased indeed. So now it is time to look at support gear. For those times I take shooting a little more seriously, but not so seriously that I bothered to bring my big camera, I guess. These two items from Ulanzi are the magnetic smartphone handle grip and pocket LED light with MagSafe, respectively. When I was scrubbing through Amazon for grips and lights and whatnot, I picked these ones mainly because they seemed decent for a very low price, and I have used Ulanzi stuff before. Mostly, they're low-cost small video lights. The current model of which I use is the VL49 RGB lights, and I quite like them for what I paid. I recommend them. So I came to these accessories expecting much the same. Fairly cheap but competent build with basic but very functional utility. And I've never actually used MagSafe stuff before. The iPhone that I just upgraded from, the 11 Pro Max, predates that feature. But I was pleased to see that both the light and camera grip come with a stick-on MagSafe style ring to use on a case or even a non-compatible phone. And they can each be individually connected right to the MagSafe on your phone, of course, or stacked together, which is the other reason I went for the Ulanzi grip, because they're designed to work together.
A little mirror on the back gives you kind of a general idea of your framing, at least with the main camera. So I'm sitting sort of dead center of the camera as far as my perspective goes, and I'm slightly off-center in frame. You know how I can tell that? Because I don't need the mirror, I've got my Apple Watch, which I can remote view my exact framing from the phone. So I can tell that's the edge of the frame right there, and that's the edge of the frame right there. And I've got just about enough headspace here in the shot. But if you don't happen to have an Apple Watch and you just need to get, a little confidence that you're in frame at least, this will be fine. Perfectly acceptable for selfies as well, I suppose, in groups. If you can all see yourself in the mirror, you're probably going to be in the shot. It's not a precision tool, but it's better than guesswork.
Its other features include a spring grip for use on phones without MagSafe, and it is a very strong spring, so use with confidence. And the MagSafe strength is pretty good too. I've yet to have it accidentally detach on me, although as you can see by my other hand in the shake test here, I'm well aware it's just a magnet and not magic. I'm not sure I trust it while jogging, for example. Not that I jog, but you know what I mean. But in general, it's a pretty confident attachment for walking around with, as I would any other camera. And of course, the magnet also means switching from portrait to landscape orientation is very easy indeed. Only really useful when not in handheld, of course. Otherwise, I could just turn my hand over, can't I? But we'll come back to that. The shutter is Bluetooth, of course, recharges via USB-C to a built-in battery and magnetically couples to the grip itself so you can remove it and still use it as a remote trigger, which is very nice. There's a cold shoe up top for fitting other camera accessories too, lights and microphones most obviously, and on the bottom a nice metal 1/4-20 thread so you can use it on standard tripods and selfie sticks and monopods and whatnot. Now, in use, in the real world, just going about my thing on a photo walk, it actually felt pretty great. Oh, and you'll notice I was kind of in the mood for pure tonality today, shooting with black and white in mind. I wasn't having an especially inspired day, I'm ashamed to say, so none of these are particularly good photos, I don't think, but thankfully this video is not about my artistic merit, so... The grip attachment is a much more confident and comfortable way to hold the phone when you are focusing on using it as just a camera. It makes getting low and high shots a lot more comfortable in particular. The depth of the finger grip feels very much like several of my Micro Four Thirds cameras have felt, very familiar in fact. The Bluetooth shutter button is responsive with no noticeable lag and has a decent feel, although it does of course lack the half press function a regular camera shutter button would have. Ergonomically, reaching the screen with my thumb for settings changes was completely unhindered and in fact probably better than just using the phone naked. And while walking around, I was supporting the phone with my other hand, sort of holding it in front of me to my lower chest, but that was less about the confidence I had in the MagSafe and my phone dropping off than it was more to do with that's just how I tend to carry my camera when on these photo walks, because it means I can lift it to my eye faster instead of having it by my side or in a pocket or a bag or whatever. And the grip also helps with handheld stability in video mode too. Not a tremendous amount because it's still a very light combination, but I can certainly notice the difference. And as for the light, it's pretty nice. It's not astonishingly bright or anything, so using it to fill shadows against a bright sunny morning wasn't ever going to happen. But in lower light situations, it's a decent little jobby to have handy. I also appreciate it is a multi-temperature light with 3 modes selectable from a button press: warm, balanced and cool, supposedly from 2500 Kelvin to 8500 Kelvin on either end of that spectrum, though with components at this price range, I would not trust that in an absolute sense, but kind of, thereabouts. You have a dimmer wheel for fairly fine-grained control over brightness, and there's a second wheel you can also use to mix the cool and warm LEDs to a custom temperature of your choosing, which is very, very welcome, and can help quite a lot with getting skin tones just right. It snaps to the iPhone's MagSafe, or indeed the grip itself, with a nice strong magnet, and is hinged so you can flip it around for easy use with the front-facing camera. So this is the front-facing camera in the cinematic mode to get me that blurry background effect, and the iPhone is complaining about more light being required to do this reliably. It seems to be coping all right at the moment, but let's switch on the light and see how we do. So there we are, we're in cool mode, which is appropriate for how I've got things set up here, and we're about 50-ish% brightness. It's hard to tell, there's no numbers or anything on the dial, but feels like about halfway there. And quite honestly, if I was setting up the shot to use it properly, I wouldn't have the light stuck on the camera pointing straight at me. I don't like that really, really flat look. I would put it off to the side instead, so we get a little bit of shadow going on, which is a little bit more interesting. And that's the other nice thing about this light, because it has the MagSafe thing on it, which means it's got a magnet in it, which means I can just stick it to the metal bar on my shelves over there and point it at me, and it works great. Remarkably useful. Ooh, spooky. Well, it's October, isn't it? So if you've never had a magnetic light before, you might just find that it's incredibly useful just being able to stick a light onto metallic surfaces. Also useful as a secondary light for a little bit of room lighting or something if you've got another sort of better main light to do as well. Never underestimate how handy it is to have just a little bitty light like this. I've got a bunch of them, and I quite like that one. Price-wise, we're talking $20 for the grip and $25 for the light, so that's 45 Yankee smackers for a pretty decent travel-friendly pair of accessories for iPhone shooting. A grip, a Bluetooth remote shutter, a tripod mount, a cold shoe mount, and a reasonably flexible video light. Yeah, can recommend them. So thanks for watching. I am Blunty. Hopefully you found this useful, and I will catch you next time. Thank you as always to the patrons scrolling up above there.